In this video, I find out if I can learn how to drift in 24 hours. Here's the deal. I have 24 hours to complete 3 increasingly difficult milestones: a donut, a figure 8, and finally, linking a full course. I need 2 full rotations of the donut to move on to the figure 8, and 5 successful transitions on the figure 8 to move on to the full course. I can take breaks and sleep, but the timer keeps running. To succeed, I have to link the entire course before the 24-hour timer ends. Anyways, let's start the timer and get to drifting. I have 24 hours to learn how to drift, and our first challenge is gonna be the donut, the humble donut. All right, here we go. First up, the donut. Sounds simple, right? Just make the car go in a circle. Even I underestimated the difficulty. There's a little more to it. I have to initiate with a clutch kick, throttle jab, handbrake, or a flick, and then balance the throttle, catch the steering wheel, and keep the drift controlled. Let's see how this goes. Oh my god. I chose the Toyota Soarer for the first challenge because I theorized that it would be the easiest for me to learn on. It has a small turbo 1UZ V8 that has nearly instantaneous torque with basically no turbo lag, unlike the popular S chassis cars with larger, laggier turbos. For full transparency, I should mention that although I've never been proficient in drifting, I've tried a few times in real life and messed around in the sim without any real plan. I didn't manage to get a feel for it back then, so technically I still don't know how to drift. I should really do successful rotations clockwise and counterclockwise, right? Or else I'm gonna be imbalanced. But this is not my very first attempt in driving sideways, and I have a little bit of unapplied knowledge in this subject. Turns out, maintaining that perfect balance is trickier than it looks. Why is it so hard? There's a delay between the throttle input and the steering correction that I had to learn how to time. The feeling felt similar to learning how to ride a bike. There wasn't a sudden click where I felt that I had it down, but instead it was a gradual improvement of fewer and fewer mistakes. I think I'm around 80% confident now, but we aren't trying to compete in Formula Drift in 24 hours. Just trying to get the basics down. Alright, that's 2 donuts down. On to the figure 8. We are approaching 45 minutes, 1 hour. We've already moved on to the figure 8. Let's see. Here's where things start to ramp up. The figure 8 builds on the donut, but adds a transition between the 2 drifting directions. That means I have to figure out how to throw the car's weight from one side to the other violently enough to start drifting on the other side, but not so violent that I immediately spin. I can only move on to the final challenge after 5 successful transitions in a row. Sounds easy? Let's find out. Should I be taking this in second? As you probably noticed, I now have 2 Razer Kiyo webcams pointed at my steering wheel and pedals for your viewing pleasure. Oh my god. Oh. After a few attempts, I realized that the Soarer wasn't the ideal tool for the job. It's a little bit too heavy and geared wrong for the tight corners. Switching to the lighter AE86 helped because it was more tossable at lower speeds. Switching cars definitely made a noticeable difference. Once I got the hang of tossing the AE86 into the transitions, things started to flow. Figure 8 complete. time for the big one, the full course.
Okay, my goal is to link the whole track. Hopefully I can get it done.
This is it. The final boss of this challenge. I chose Shibuya Drift Circuit for its wide, flowing corners and short straights. It has elevation changes in a couple corners that throws off the drifting dynamics. As long as I can keep balancing the throttle and avoid losing control in the transitions, I can do this. I had some trouble learning how to go from big high-speed corners to very tight hairpins because of the entry speed difference. I wasn't quite confident enough for left foot braking when my left foot had to deal with the clutch pedal too. So I mainly used the handbrake to slow down. For the two medium length straights, I was able to manji to keep the speed slow enough for the corner at the end. For the two corners that were sloped downhill, I let off the throttle way sooner than I would have if it were flat, and used the handbrake again to slow down even more. Driving lap after lap, I learned the track and what each corner wanted from me. After around 30 laps of improving gradually, the stars aligned and I linked the entire track. And that's time. Challenge complete with 21 hours to spare. Ooh, looks like I might have really overestimated the difficulty of this one. Although, maybe my goals weren't ambitious enough. Future noob here. It's now past the 24-hour mark. And after reviewing the footage, I noticed a couple of small mistakes I thought I could let slide. But now, I'm not so sure. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Did I complete the challenge? Or did I call it too soon? I recently started a Patreon page after a couple of people offered to pay for my next car and track when I complained that iRacing was too expensive. I have no idea if they were real offers and I genuinely didn't even think about it. My long-term goal for this channel is to make it my career, so if you are able to support the channel with your hard-earned dollars so early on, I'm gonna be eternally grateful. I'm not very good at self-promotion, especially since it's still difficult for me to listen to my own voice. Anyway, thank you so much for staying till the end of the video, and I'll see you in the next one.